Hello. So for today's addition to the spring cleaning series that I'm doing, we are going to spring clean on the witch wound. I chose this topic partly because we are in the season of the witch, with it being October, and then also I chose it because of what is going on with the conflict overseas. Um, I'm of the belief system that external conflict represents the internal conflict that we have going on inside of us. And so, if we can address the internal conflict, it can slowly shift the external world that we live in. One of the most loving things you can do for humanity is to put love into yourself through doing your shadow work and self awareness, and having that self awareness that is needed so you can dissolve those shadow energies that are keeping you from truly loving yourself so that you can properly love others, because we can only love others as deeply as we love ourselves, right? And so I offer the witch wound as an offering, as a prayer, this spring cleaning video today, as an offering, as a prayer for peace, internal peace, inner peace, so that way peace can begin to be planted and seeded overseas in Israel and Gaza and Palestine, as well as any other places in the world where there is conflict going on that's not being as heavily reported right now over here in the States. And so, anyways, I have been working on healing my witch wound the last few months, and it is a part of myself that I have been at odds with for quite a while. I've been doing energy healing and studying metaphysics for the last 5 years, and I refuse to call myself a witch. I refuse to identify with witch. It took me a really long time to go into this wounding, and it makes sense. I've had quite a few nasty things happen to me in other lives related to the witch wound, as well as I have the collective memory of my ancestors being alive during the witch hunts, and I don't know if they were witches or if they were the hunters, but the thing is, the memory is alive in the cells of their body. And so it's like that memory talks to me and has kept me from identifying as a witch, because we all know what happened to witches. They got killed in horrible ways, they were tortured, they were exiled, they were shamed, they were brutalized, their pets were brutalized. And like they had like so many violations of like trust, like trust wounds are deep with those that have been part of the witch wound times. And so anyways, like I avoided it for a really long time, and I've only been working on this part of myself for the last month and a half. And I do like being authentic and transparent in my journey, so I figure, why not share a witch wound spring cleaning with those that resonate here on the Pussy Church playlist? And why not do some of my inner work on my inner conflict and be the love, and the like, be the love that I want to see starting here in the world around me. And so anyways, with spring cleaning is a technology that was created by Mama Gena, who is the creator of the School of Womanly Arts. It is a tool that basically is used where like you are witnessed by another person, or you're witnessed by your higher power, and you acknowledge all the nitty gritties that you haven't necessarily said, or maybe you've said it, but you've been stuck in a cycle. In this container, it just creates a sacred, safe space for you to acknowledge all those things that you want to get out of your body and out of your field, so that way you can manifest things that you truly desire. Um, those with the witch wound are very connected with like the earth and the elements and the rhythms and cycles of life, and perhaps being at odds with that part of yourself, you might feel really disconnected from the cycles and rhythms of life, or you might have like this like internal tug of war, like you love being outside in nature so much, but then you shove down that part of yourself that is connected to nature. So like you never take your shoes off when you're in nature, but you'll sit outside briefly in nature, but you won't get dirty in nature, because if you're covered in earth and mother earth energy, then you might get persecuted. And so there's like this tug of war like going on inside, right? um and so the spring cleaning would vacuum all of that out, so that way you can have more things that are pleasurable in your life, like pleasure does not always have to be sexual. I know some people hear that word and think sexual, but like there is the pleasure of walking barefoot outside. There's the pleasure of sunbathing. There is the pleasure of learning from the plants in your garden or foraging. There's a lot of pleasure to be found in healing the witch wound and really getting to nourish that part of yourself. And the more that you're able to go into these parts of earth or whatever other like gems, crystals, metaphysics, like the more you're able to go in those places, the more you light up, the more you shine, the more you're bringing light into this world, the more you're beautifying this world if you're using these tools in a way that is to bring love into the world. Hopefully you are. I imagine if you're on this channel that you are. But anyways, the more you do that, the less you need to have others outside of you validate you. And spring cleaning is great because like nobody's validating you, you're just getting it out, right? And so, and the less that others have to validate you, the more you can show up for yourself, the more you can love yourself, the more you're able to love other people, the more you're able to encourage people. Like spring cleaning's really, really powerful. So, anyways, sorry, I went on a little tangent. Anyways, spring cleaning, it's like the universe, if you're spring cleaning by yourself, the universe, your higher power, your source, capital S, they will be your witness as you spring clean because something is always witnessing us. If not, then on this video, when you do it by yourself, I'll be your witness along with your higher power. Or if you find that you really like the tool spring cleaning, you take it to other sister goddesses or brother gods, and you all can spring clean together and witness each other. Make sure that y'all have the understanding that spring cleaning is like a container where once it's all out, like whoever's witnessing you is the garbage man. They take that garbage through witnessing and holding space for you, and they don't bring it back. You don't talk about it again. Like once it's out, it's out. The whole reason is to get it out, right? And spring cleaning is layered. So usually, if you go back and clean on something, you'll notice you hit new layers, and you also notice you have like little insights in your day-to-day life, which kind of makes you want to spring clean more. And you can spring clean on things over and over. You can spring clean for a month, you can spring clean for a week, you could spring clean for a year. I know some people like to do 5 days on, 2 days off if they're like really focused on a certain topic. They're all great. My husband and I spring cleaned a month on surrender, and it was amazing because I've gotten so much less worried about things that happen outside my control. Like huge game changer for me, especially being like a recovering perfectionist and hypervigilant. Like that month of spring cleans was so worth it. So yeah, there's that. And then sometimes your mind might just be like, I don't know, and draw a blank. So then just say, I have nothing. And if you find that you say, I have nothing, you still have nothing, it's okay. You could say it a couple of times, like, I have nothing. And then usually after you say, I have nothing once or twice, like the something start to come up, right? And if they don't, then I invite you to go ahead and go back to like the last thing you said and think about what you said. Like maybe you're like, I have anger. And then you can be like, okay, well, why do I have anger? What makes me angry? Like just ask yourself a question, just kind of shift and get things rolling again. And then the other one is sometimes you'll find that you repeat yourself. And so that's fine too. Cause like, I mean, think about it. Some of these topics are like lifetimes old, right? So you could be like, I have anger. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have anger. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have anger. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have anger at men. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? And you see how you hit I have anger a few times and then something new comes out. It's just the power of acknowledgement and witnessing and going to those places, right? Um, Spring cleaning is done with a timer, and then when the timer goes off, I'll say this is your first of however many pulls you choose to have. Well, in this case, you won't choose, I'll choose for you. So I'll say this is your first of 3 pulls. And that just tells your subconscious, kind of like simple, like, oh, I got to get it out. These are my last 3 times to say something. And then you close with a trinity because a trinity is something positive and it helps pull you out of the past and into the now and the present and the things that you are celebrating. And then that way it's easier to pull out of the clean and not feel so heavy if you did a deeper clean, right? And then if you do feel heavy, feel griefy, angry, I'll link my swamping video at the end of the video, and go ahead and click on it and then go ahead and swamp to the witch wound or whatever you're spring cleaning on and just like get it out through dance. And usually that will alleviate any feelings of like grief or anger that come up because it's a really great somatic embodiment practice. What else is there? think I got all of it. Oh, and then the person witnessing, you'll want to go ahead and try to have a poker face because facial expressions can sometimes shift the container and a person might not feel safe being witnessed anymore because you might smile at something or you might even smirk accidentally and not even realize you're smirking. And then they might be like, oh my God, they're judging me. So then they're not going to want to go deep in the container and it can be kind of harmful. So you just try to keep a poker face the whole time. You can smile and stuff for the brags, but just, yeah, poker face in the container as much as you can. Um, and yeah, I think that's everything. So I'll go ahead and start with my own spring clean demonstration on the witch wound. So everything that I'm saying is fresh. This is me in and clean with myself. And this will guide you on how to spring clean by yourself because we need safe spaces to go into to clean and to do shadow work and to be like that ripple effect of change and love in the world, right? And so you'll see how I do it by myself, and then I'll hold space for you. I'll run a timer, and then I'll be quiet and ask the questions as if you're here. If you need a little longer, just press pause to answer. However, keep in mind that when you press pause, that you need to keep your sentences and statements as short and concise as possible. If you have any stories that come up, break them down. So, for example, like kind of like a disposable camera, you have like a certain amount of shots, and a clean, you have a certain amount of minutes. And so, like when a surgeon goes into surgery, they do a really clean cut, and then they have their little cameras and instruments, and they go in. They don't take out a whole chunk for a successful surgery, right? Spring cleans are kind of like a psychic surgery in ways. So you want to do like really simple, concise statements to get the most out of your clean. If there is a story, for example, let's see. This is like just an example. So it's like, okay, thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a fear that people are going to burn me at the stake and it's going to be like the crucible, and I'm so worried that my family's going to shame me. That's a story, right? Like that's a lot. That's a run on. It's going every which way. So then the way to break it down would be like, thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a lot of fear that my family is going to disown me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I am worried that people are going to persecute me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I remember seeing the movie The Crucible, and when they were praying, it really stuck out to me and brought up a lot of fear. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? See how you like break it up. You don't go into this huge jumbled story. It's more clean when you're witnessing that way, right? So yeah, that's what I got. I'm gonna go ahead and do a spring clean on the witch wound for 3 minutes and 3 pulls. Let me get my timer ready. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So, Sister Goddess Poppy, are you ready to begin your spring clean on the witch wound for 3 minutes and 3 pulls? Yes. Thank you. Starting timer. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a lot of fear. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I'm terrified of being seen. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I find that when I make YouTube content, I hide my singing and my energy work at the end of my videos. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I'm scared someone's going to see that side of me and come after me in some hateful way. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? My family is not supportive of me doing the energy healing that I do. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? My inner child is worried that she's going to get bullied. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I hate that I have repressed and suppressed this part of myself for so long. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a lot of hatred towards men and the patriarchal systems that our society is built on. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a sister wound where I just don't trust women. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I feel like there's this like past life memory that of women betraying me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? However, I truly love sisterhood here and now, and I'd like to transcend that past life here. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a lot of anger at all the people that have persecuted me in past lives. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I am angry that my biological mother has shamed me for doing energy healing. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I'm angry that anytime I talk about herbalism or energy healing with some of my friends that my earlier days in life that like they don't engage with me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I'm angry at myself because I use the word woo woo to invalidate myself. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I'm angry that I've tried so hard to get people to understand me that I'm always looking for scientific information to help people understand me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? These people don't pay my bills at night. It's me who pays my bills at night. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I need to love myself and show up for myself and stop trying to get others to love me. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have a really deep abandonment wound. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? My Chiron is the wound of abandonment. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? And that wound has to do with self abandonment. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? I have self abandoned for so long by not acknowledging my inner witch. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? My inner witch is very scared. Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? My inner witch is scared of being seen in public, singing and doing yoga and picking herbs. Thank you. This is your first of 3 pulls. What do you have on the witch wound? I love being naked in nature, and I'm always worried someone's going to see me and shame me. Thank you. This is your second of 3 pulls. What do you have on the witch wound? I am very lonely with the current circle of people that I socialize with. Thank you. This is your third and final pull. What do you have on the witch wound? I wish I had more sister goddess friends that were into the healing arts and herbalism that just naturally got me and that I get as well. Thank you. This concludes your spring clean on the witch wound. It has been an honor and a pleasure to hold space for you. Would you like to close with the Trinity? Yes. I brag, so brag is something you're celebrating. I brag that I spring cleaned on the witch wound and had some new insights. I brag that I am showing up for my inner witch. I brag that I am showing up for myself and I brag that I'm beginning to respect myself more simply through doing shadow work on the witch wound. I brag that I am becoming more content with myself as company at this point in time. I brag that I had an awesome time at the park with my husband doing yoga and singing and not caring that people were walking by. And I brag that I purchased some herbalism classes that I'm really excited to take. And I am grateful for bath bombs and salt baths. I am grateful for essential oils and the healing properties of plants on a metaphysical level. I'm grateful for the heart healer gem essence that I've been taking. It's been really, really helpful in getting me through some funk. I am grateful for biofield tuning. It has really helped me tidy up my energy field. And I desire to really reclaim my power and heal and embrace my inner witch. And I desire to meet other sister goddesses when my husband and I move that love nature and exercise and somatics and psychology and metaphysics as much as I do. And I desire that they lift me up and that I lift them up and that it's a win-win relationship on all sides. And I desire to get to the point of like healing my inner witch where like I just don't care if people understand me, and I desire that if I do learn about science and stuff like that, that I'm doing it for me, not so much for those that I'm trying to sway. And I desire to be the love that I want to see in this world. I desire to create safe space for others, to cultivate self-love so that there's multiple little ripples of love all over the world, so that we see less and less external conflict as we soothe the conflict within and cultivate inner peace. Well back to beautiful gratitude, and so it shall be, or something even better and wetter than your wildest dreams. All right. So that was my spring clean on the witch wound. It made me feel kind of griefy. So I might swamp after this video, or I might just like take a nap. I don't know. We'll see what my body wants to do. All right. So we're gonna do yours for 3 minutes and three pulls. I'm going to look at you, but I'm not gonna have much facial expressions. Just holding space. Okay. All right. Sister Goddess, go ahead and say your name. Are you ready to begin your spring clean on the witch wound for a total of 3 minutes and three pulls? I hear you saying yes. Thank you. Timer is now starting. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. This is your first of three pulls. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. This is your second pull. What do you have on the witch wound? Thank you. This is your third and final pull. What do you have on the witch wound? This concludes your spring clean on the witch wound. It has been an honor and a pleasure to hold space for you. Would you like to close with the Trinity? And I hear you say yes. Go ahead. What is your brag? So you'll say, I brag. Brag. What is your gratitude? You'll say, I am grateful for. Gratitude. And what do you desire? You'll say, I desire. So it shall be, or something even better and wetter than your wildest dreams. Well done. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath and just give yourself a hug like we're going there. And if you do feel like you need to swamp, go ahead and click on the video that will be linked at the end of this video. So you could go ahead and swamp to the witch wound. If you don't know how to swamp, you can follow along the video, or you can, if you do know how to swamp, go ahead and find your 3 songs for anger, grief, and turn on, and do a swamp to just help your body metabolize what came up during the spring clean. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Halloween, happy holidays, happy witching. All right, be well.